Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Night Review. And tonight I'm going to be talking about two of my favorite characters of all time, He-Man and She-Rah. And they're in a cartoon together. It's called The Secret of the Sword. And I think I seen this when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure. I watched it again recently and really enjoyed it. I grew up watching He-Man and She-Rah. I mean, I got a ton of nostalgia for both of these characters. I love them both. And I not only did I grow up watching He-Man and She-Ra, but Superman, of course. Superman was always my favorite superhero. Shazam, it was always like it was like second to Superman. I wouldn't really know how to rank him, but Shazam was always right up there with Superman, along with Thor, Incredible Hulk, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Spider-Man. There's so many, but these characters are characters I grew up with. He-Man and She-Ra are right up there with them, and I always liked watching He-Man. I had the toys when I was a kid. I wish I would have just kept them all in good condition. The He-Man, the She-Ra toys, I wish I would have kept them all in good condition. I boxed them. I fought them too much, and their fingers came off. I should have just really taken care of them. I made them fight each other, and I was too rough when I fought with them, and I had them fight each other. Too many battles, too many battle scars. There's very few survivors. No, but it was. I wish I would have taken care of all those toys, but he-Man and She-Ra have always been two of my favorite characters. I like all the characters in these cartoons, Hordak, Skeletor, Trapjaw, Triclops. There's so many. Evil Lyn, Shadow Weaver, Tila, Man-at-Arms. Just the Secret of the Sword is a really, really good cartoon. I watched it again recently, and it it's still one of my favorites. It's the He-Man and She-Ra. The characters are still two of my favorites, but I do get bored nowadays if I watch too many of the He-Man and She-Ra cartoons. But I still like them. They're so charming. The characters are so virtuous and so good. I love that about these old cartoons. The artwork I think is really good. I think it's got a lot of character and style. I really like how Hordak and Skeletor are portrayed, and of course He-Man and She-Ra. The Secret of the Sword is definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it and you like He-Man and She-Ra. It's available, I believe it's still free on YouTube. I saw it free on YouTube recently. I'm sure I saw it when I was a kid. I was crazy for this when I was a kid. Recently I saw it. Certain parts I got bored because I like more of a faster pace. Now, I think these cartoons are awesome. I like the virtue and goodness of these characters. If they were to remake them, and they have remade them, but if they were to remake them again or go in a direction that I wish that they would go, uh, keep everything almost the same in terms of their goodness, their character, and their virtue and their style, but have more action, make the art even better if that's possible. I love the art of the old cartoons. I really, really do. But if they can improve it and make it even more of what it was, have it what it was, but even exemplify it, make it more pronounced and even better if they could do that with even the same atmosphere, but just absolutely more amplified, highlighted, that would be awesome. I really like the character of He-Man and She-Ra. The Secret of the Sword tells the story of She-Ra's, basically her origin story. She was kidnapped by Hordak when she was a baby. She's the twin sister of He-Man when Hordak was attacking Eternia with Skeletor. Skeletor was Hordak's pupil. Hordak was Skeletor's teacher. And they couldn't conquer the kingdom. Eternia was too powerful for the Horde and Hordak to conquer it. So he thought, why not steal the twins, She-Ra and He-Man? They're destined for greatness. They're going to do great things. Just take them both. He took She-Ra, and he was going to take He-Man, but the Man-at-Arms came in and stopped him. He left with She-Ra. He left Skeletor behind because he wasn't fast enough to get out of there. So in order to save himself, he betrayed Hordak and told them where they can find Hordak. So they tracked him down, but he escaped through a portal and went to his world, and they never saw She-Ra again. That's the synopsis in a nutshell of the story. There's more to it than that. And the secret of the sword is where basically the sorceress gives the sword to He-Man, and he's going on a mission to give that sword to someone. That someone turns out to be She-Ra, and she was taken as a baby, raised by Hordak, and brainwashed, taught to be loyal to him and do his bidding. They lied to her and said the Horde is good and you work for us, and she's been brainwashed. And so when He-Man finds her and gives her the sword, she starts to realize that the Horde is evil and that she's destined for great things. That's the story in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it than that. It takes a while for her to break out of the spell, and I think it was partially put on by Shadow Weaver, Hordak and Shadow Weaver, blinding her mind, keeping her asleep, and in a symbolic sense, thinking that the Horde is good. And she works for them, but she never really saw all the brutal things they did to the people. And He-Man says, go and see for yourself. Visit the towns where the Horde is hurting people and doing horrible things to them. And so she does, and she starts to realize, gee, they are bad. I'm working for the wrong people. Anyway, to make a long story short, she does get the sword. Finally, at the end, the sorceress talks to She-Ra through the sword, tells her who she is, tells her who He-Man is, because at first she's against He-Man, but she comes to love and appreciate him as her brother when she finds out the true story, what Hordak did in Eternia. He kidnapped her, lied to her, he's been brutal to the people, and then she changes, and then she starts fighting for good, and she's forever She-Ra. She turns against evil. She didn't do many bad things herself. She just was under the impression that the Horde was not evil. She was brainwashed. She was under a spell. And then she, unbeknownst to her, she didn't understand a lot of what was going on until later, until they'll explain it in the story when you see it in the cartoon. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. Certain parts I thought were boring because I like more of a fast pace, but I love He-Ra. He-Ra. He-Man. Excuse me. Excuse me. He-Man and She-Ra. Excuse me. But He-Man and She-Ra. Let me pause this. I'm back, folks. Hordak and Skeletor put a spell on me, tried to steal my voice, but it didn't work. He-Man and She-Ra showed up and we defeated them, so my voice is back. No, but I had to clear my throat from that spell. But anyway, I really enjoyed this cartoon. Like I said, a couple parts were boring, where it dragged on a little bit too much, and I want my movies and my cartoons to be more faster paced, but I still love these cartoons. I love the animation. I like the characters so much. And it's just a feel-good cartoon, how She-Ra changes. This is her origin story, how she becomes She-Ra. She's Force Captain Adora. That's her position with Hordak's army, the Horde. And she works for him. And then finally, she's given the sword by He-Man. The sorceress talks to her through the sword, explains her story. Hordak's evil, kidnapped her when she was a baby, and she's twins with He-Man. He's her twin brother. They come together, they work together, they fight against Hordak and Skeletor, and it's a good ending. It's really a good cartoon. It's a spoiler review, of course. If you haven't seen The Secret of the Sword, I highly recommend it. It's with He-Man and She-Ra. I think you'll like it if you like these types of cartoons, and especially if you have nostalgia for them. This has been the Late Night Review. Please like and subscribe and share this video. Good night, everybody.